It's been a long road since the original Kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
It's the Kip and Dave Show.
No excitement.
Are you ready?
22. We're doing it one more time. We're going to do another one. We're going to do this right this time.
Wicka.
Check. I'm Smeatlish.
Camera adds 27 pounds. It just seems like a
I know.
rough it's just
kind of, yeah.
This is Dave.
And Kip.
Come check us out. This is Kip.
And Dave.
And I got it wrong again. And we're going to have to do this again because we went down a different trail. Until then, this is Dave.
And Kip.
Come check us out. Come check us out.
Yeah.
Wicka.
I think that's good.
Just pick one. God, I hate the ending. There's no way to end this.
Just say, come see us. Just come see us. And just come see us.
So.
Come see us at the two locations.
God, it just seems so hard.
Oh, howdy. Delmar Hogwallop here, coming to you from outside Mildred's Bait Shop and Lingerie. Want to appreciate you all coming, giving a look-see in on the Kicker UnMASKED show. Those folks at Kicker, salt of the earth, make some of the finest gear ever tickle your ear. So, mighty fine of you to come take some time off and check them out. And remember, whether you're looking for night crawlers or nighties, Mildred's is your place. So once again, hey, son, put down that armadillo and get some pants on. Oh, my Lord, kids.
Music is my passion, my livelihood, and it's in my DNA. My pals at KICKER Marine Audio gave me a chance to take the music, what I love and listen to, at home, on stage, and in the car, onto the water. Hi, this is Jason Bonham, and I want to say a big thank you to my friends at KICKER Audio for inspiring the songs and the stories behind the music that inspires America. Go overboard!
The KICKER Quad Box is the most insane, ground-pounding, bass-head-loving, preloaded subwoofer enclosure we have ever offered. It consists of 4 L7R 12-inch subwoofers. It has a total power handling of 2,400 watts RMS, and it's tuned at an amazing 31 hertz. Here to tell us more about it is KICKER's very own Jeremy Brown.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Brown. I've been with KICKER for 22 years. I work in the research and development department. In the early 2000s, I would run the Gates Bronco at shows like Daytona. We would do hair tricks, 48 10-inch subwoofers with 48 1,000 watt amplifiers. Really big build back in that day. We were able to develop some high output enclosures that were up above the 170 dB mark. We set a few world records with some of those enclosure designs and our woofers. We learned a lot about high output enclosure designs during that time, and we've been able to bring that to our product lines today. Within the last year, we introduced a new subwoofer enclosure with 4 L7R12s that we call the Quad Box. Our Quad Box is built out of 3/4 inch birch. It's got a 1.5 inch baffle and a 1.5 inch bottom. We also use window frame bracing along with corner bracing to make the enclosure more rigid. We use a flared port to reduce port noise and increase port surface area. This type of vent design helps maximize output. We use the L7R 12-inch subwoofers because this allows you to use one KXA 2400.1 amplifier, and you still get big bass with fewer upgrades to your charging system. The KICKER Quad Box is the bass head starter kit, and if you're worried, it plays way below 40 hertz.
Do not attempt to adjust this transmission. We have assumed control.
The year is 1980. Music fights for its very survival in an acoustically desolate wasteland man calls automobile. Enter Steve Irby, a man whose love of music helped end this scourge forever and forge a path for modern car audio to follow. A humble musician with a passion for quality sound, Mr. Irby is a man who feels it is his destiny to provide a sanctuary for mobile audio. Welcome. Join us this evening as we venture back to the very night a young Steve Irby gains his inspiration to create the legacy we know today as KICKER Performance Audio. Though he does not realize it now, by this time tomorrow, Mr. Irby will have completed blueprints for the original KICKER and champion the war against mobile audio inequality. Tonight, Mr. Irby's prayers will be answered as he begins his quest into the Q Zone. KICKER L7QB8. With roots dating back to KICKER's inception, Mr. Irby and his team of engineers have achieved an unrivaled level of design and functionality. With extraordinary bass and a minimal footprint, the L7QB8 utilizes a seamless 1/4 inch extruded aluminum housing, allowing optimal internal air volume for the subwoofer. This exclusive design provides exceptional strength and stability. Like the original KICKER, the L7QB8 incorporates a unique passive radiator to minimize required airspace while optimizing the efficiency and frequency response of the subwoofer. Opposite the passive radiator, the L7QB8 is equipped with the all-new 8-inch L7 square subwoofer. The 2016 L7 features an aluminum basket for exceptional strength and thinned aluminum heat sinks for efficient heat dissipation. KICKER's blue lace spider, solo cone 360-degree back bracing, and a laser-etched cone brace combine as a single ultra-rigid unit. The result is increased clarity, higher volume, and added reliability. The square cone features over 20% more surface area than round subwoofers. It's attached to a Santoprene surround, then stitched to the cone for long life and durability. This surround features KICKER's patented ribbed corners, which fully dictates cone motion and extends surround life.
At the base of the unit, a pair of custom-formed flanges integrate seamlessly with an extremely low-profile mounting system, consisting simply of a mounting plate and bar. Once installed, the overall height of the enclosure is only 9.5 inches. This profile is small enough to work perfectly in countless trucks, sedans, and SUVs. Once again, KICKER sets a new standard with the groundbreaking design and unparalleled performance of the all-new L7 QB8.
This is where KICKER started, right here in this garage right back here. It was a great place, but just a little bit small. And after about 6 months, actually, we got kicked out of here. My wife said there's entirely too much sawdust seeping into the house from the garage. But this was the beginning right here in the garage on 1412 Eastern Street in this little house. Okay, here we are at KICKER location number 2 down on South Main Street in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And this is the little house that we moved into after we got kicked out of the garage. Here we are at KICKER location number 3. We spent about 7 or 8 years in this place. We moved from the little house right over here into the Quonset when we ran out of space. We had about 35 employees. Here we are at KICKER location number 4. This is up on top of the hill. It's a little bit windy here. But we spent the years from 1989 until about 2006 here, until we moved into our new facility.
Good evening, everyone. It's 7:30 Central Time right here on the Kicker Facebook and YouTube channels. Welcome to Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. I'm your host, Kip Litzy. Thanks for tuning in. If it's your first time here, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoy it. Hope there's some great content here that you get something out of, and make sure you want to hit that like button and that subscribe button. We'd love to have you join our feed. For all the rest of you people who are coming back, what are you doing here? Thanks for tuning in. We love to have you join, man. It's great to have the people who do tune into this. I think there's a lot of people tuning into this every Tuesday night. It's their way to relax, have some fun, find out what's the latest and greatest happening from Kicker with products, Kicker with tips, hints, of course, special guests, and we got some fantastic guests join us tonight. We'll get to all of those in just a moment. As we talk about every night, I'm going to brag a little bit. We got a little Italian restaurant here in Stillwater called Da Vinci's, and they make some primo Italian. And Sandy, you all got introduced to her on last Tuesday's show. She's actually filling in the shoes of Jeremy Wynn, who skipped town, and he's not here. And why he's not here, I don't know, but Jeremy's gone. We'll talk about why in a second. Give us a wave there, Sandy. So that's Sandy there in the back. She's actually taking the place of Jeremy Wynn. Jeremy's actually out on an event. We're going to talk about that in just a second here. And then peeking in there, that's Bill Frog. He's trying to get a little time on the camera there. And then, of course, Jacob Lucky is back there. And Bill is actually training Jacob because he's going to be taking the seat for Bill here in about another week because Bill wants to take this thing called a vacation, which I just don't understand. I don't think Bill's earned a vacation yet. So I think he's just taking some time off. Let me get my mic positioned here. Sorry, folks, I was tugging on my ear there. So thank them for joining. Sandy, thank you for filling in for Jeremy and putting up with us here. I know it's a challenge to put up with us all day, much less all night. But Sandy, she has a very special palate and will only eat certain foods. And one of them she agreed to have tonight was Da Vinci's, which is an Italian joint. So we all had our fill in Italian. It was fantastic. And then Sandy, since she's going to be here next week, she's already said, what are we doing next week? And I said, I don't know. It's your call. I mean, you're the lady of the house here. What do you want to do? She said, I want to do steak next week. So it looks like next week is probably going to be down the street at the steak place, which I always want to say Outback, but it's not Outback. It's Texas Roadhouse. So looks like Texas Roadhouse is going to be on the menu for next week. So we're going to be eating good in the neighborhood here on Kicker Unmasked Live next week because I know I'm going to have me either a nice filet or maybe some prime rib if they haven't sold out of it by then. With that said, you know, we always try to take care of the little thing we call housekeeping here in the beginning, remind you of things that are going on, things in the field, contests, things like that. First thing I'd like to bring up is obviously Sandy's back there. We said Jeremy's not here. Well, the reason Jeremy's not here is we are actually out in the field at our first live in-person marketing event since March of last year, and that is Desert Storm out in Lake Havasu, Arizona. And Jeremy, along with several other guys from here, are out there. I don't know everyone who's out there. I know it's Jeremy Bale, Jesse Bale, David Glasgow. I know Jeremy's out there. Jeremy might even be parked down for the night because he actually drives the XRV, which is the big semi-rig. And if you don't know what that is, you'll see that here in a little bit on the tour. But he's already checked out, heading that way. Hopefully he's shut down for the night and watching the show. But that is going to be our first event of 2021 is out at Lake Havasu Desert Storm. Everyone, hope it goes well. You know the environment we're living in right now. I hope that event goes well. We don't have any issues and we can do a lot more. Oh, Focht and Lauren. So Tracy Focht, who's the regional sales manager from Kicker for that territory, and Lauren Morrell. Everyone knows him. He's the guy that is out there all the time with anything to do with Kicker Motocross, Kicker Arena Cross, Kicker Monster Truck. If you've ever run into any of those events, you've run into Lauren because he's our face out there in the field on that. So Desert Storm's happening this weekend. If you're in the Lake Havasu area, go check it out. It's a fantastic show. Kicker is the title sponsor for that event. Lots of cool boats, lots of cool systems, lots of great food, and a good time for all. So if you get out in the area, if you're from that area, please go check it out. And like I said, we're excited. It's our first live in the field event since March of 2020. So we're all excited to see this one kick off. We're all excited to see this be the first of many other events where we can get out into the field. Along with that, I want to remind everyone the drawing for tonight, kicker.fun/tour2, Tour2. I'm sure Bill, let me glance over. Yeah, he's already got it up around there. That is the link for tonight's drawing. If you're first time here on the show, the way we do this, we start that link right at 7:15. We run it until 8:30, and when we talk times here, it's always Central Time, folks. So be sure you get the right time zone for what we're talking about here. I'm talking Central Time. So 8:30 to us is 9:30 on the East Coast. And if you're going the opposite direction, obviously go backwards. It would be then 7:30 for Mountain, and then 6:30 for Pacific. So that runs till 8:30. You have until then to enter that drawing. We give away prizes here on the show, and it's our special thank you for if you're tuning into the show. These are prizes or drawings that we do because you're here watching the show live, and we certainly appreciate you. So hit that link, kicker.fun/tour2, and again, that's going to be live until 8:30 Central Time. We then close that link down, and we'll pull the winners and announce them right here on the show. But on top of that, we have another contest that's been going on. This is the start of week 3 and is with Hoppy Industries. And if you tuned in and watched that show, I know you had a good time on that one. If you haven't, all these shows are on our YouTube feed. Go check them out. The one we did with Hoppy, they talk about all the cool products they make for ATV and UTV that utilize, obviously, Kicker speakers, amps, and source units. And we talked to JD, had a great conversation about that, going kind of in deep on what they do. And they got on board to doing a contest where they're going to give away an Audio Mini, a Hoppy Audio Mini. And at the time, they only made for 4 different ATVs, UTVs. JD let us know that there's at least 2 more coming in the mix. It'll probably be ready when this contest wraps up. This will be running until the 26th at midnight. So that contest, it's kicker.fun/win a mini, one word, WINAMINI. Go hit that one after the show. Be sure you're registered for that. And then Tuesday, the 27th, the Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly show for that day. JD will be coming back on board and joining us, and we will draw the winner for that Audio Mini live on the show. It's going to be a great time. So hopefully, if you're registered, fantastic. If this is your first time here or you haven't taken the time to go register, go hit that link, kicker.fun/win a mini, and get into that contest. With that one said, tonight's drawing, tour, got that out of the way, Desert Storm, we all know what's going on there. Oh, keep in mind, drawings, when we first did this, it was domestic USA only. There's lots of hoops that we have to jump through, which are both take time and money in order for us to bring people in the rest of the world, in other words, outside continental U.S., into the drawings. But we have made arrangements with our Canadian distributor, Jemson. Thank you to them. And they are working with us so that if you are from Canada, you can enter any of the drawings here on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly now, and you qualify to win. The only thing we ask is it'll take us a little longer to get the prize to you if you win and you're from Canada, but the great news is you can now participate. So if you're from the northern border, across there, great beer, great weather, beautiful country, great lakes, enter the contest. We can bring you on board and we can let you enter. So thank you for tuning in. If you come from Canada, thank you so very much. We'd love to have you here, and we're glad that you are able to join the contest. And then one thing that came up a little earlier today, and I'm looking at my notes here because I need to make sure I've got it correct here, because I didn't even know. It shows how in tune I am. But a lot of people don't know. If you don't, or if you have someone, then you do know, April is actually Autism Awareness Month. And I had someone approach me earlier, and he said, you know, we'd like to really try to help people in our Kicker way, what we can do. You know, it is Autism Awareness Month, and so what we'd like to do, Kip, is we've arranged to have some discount codes that are just for Cush NC headphones. And the reason we're making such a big deal about it is if you or a loved one, or if you know a family member or a friend, different family that has someone with autism, you know, they can really get into sensory stimulation overload. And a noise reduction headphone reduces that stress level for anyone who's living with autism. So, in that vein, I'm going to ask everyone to put on your honest cap, because we really don't have any way to validate this. We want you to understand that we're doing this as a special service to people who have autism, whether it's a family member, a friend, someone you know. Feel free to share this with someone if this doesn't apply to you. But we have 150% off discount codes for the Cush NC headphones, and we really want to get these out into the hands of people with autism that can appreciate and get the benefit from these noise-canceling headphones. So the way we're going to have this work is be honest. If it's not you, try to find someone who would qualify. You simply need to send an email to social@kicker.com, and in the subject line, please put in there autism, or you can put in there autism promotion, and send that to Bill. And what we need in your email is just simply give us your email address, and then the person in that department who's in charge of this program will reach back out to you and arrange to get you that code. But it is a code. We're giving it away to the first 100 people who need it. and you will be able to go to kicker.com and use that code and get a set of Cush NC headphones at 50% off, which is a fantastic deal on an awesome working product, but actually for someone with autism will give them a huge benefit because they'll be able to reduce that outside stimulus, that sensory stimulation, which will help them deal with what they're dealing with on a daily basis. So if it's you or someone in your family, please take advantage of it. If you know a family, if you know a friend or someone who has someone living with autism and they could benefit from this, please reach out to them and let them know. Just pass along to them, social@kicker.com. And again, just put in the top autism or autism promotion, and we will then reach back out to them through their email, and we will get them that 50% off discount code for the Cush NCs. So thank you, Mr. Irby. We're allowed to do these things because he feels they're important, and we wanted to bring that to attention. So because it's April and it's Autism Awareness Month, that's one little thing that we're doing here to help raise awareness and help those people out who are dealing with that in their lives. So kind of a serious issue. Don't want to downplay it, but please, this is our way of trying to help you out. Take advantage of it. Find the people who need it. Reach out. Have them email us. We'd love to get them in and get them a really good discount on something that'll help their daily lives. So with that said, boom, 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 boom. I think I've covered most of what I like to call the housekeeping for the day, but I do want to take a seat and turn to the computer. And I want to see what we got in the comment feed, because if Jacob and Sandy are doing their job, hopefully we got some comments put up on the screen. So I'm going to take a seat and see what we got. Got anything on here, lady and gentlemen? If y'all don't hear bass right now, then you don't have good sound. That's from Derek at Williston Audio Labs. We did a sound check earlier. If you're not hearing any bass, there's a problem somewhere. There's tons of bass in here, not only in the music and stuff that we do, but also in the voices and things that we do here. Live drawing working yet? Matster 831, thank you for asking, sir. No, the live drawing is not working yet. That is a function of Gleam, which is the contest entry we use. It's still in beta. It's still not working to any way to do a live drawing. I mean, you click it and sometimes it pulls and sometimes it doesn't. So we are still checking on that. Once that is working, we will move from having Bill basically do random pulls in the back and bringing those up here so you can see them. We will move from that into actually doing the drawing live here on camera. So thanks for asking. Absolutely. When we can do that, we're going to bring it here so you can see it. I want to see you went by there too fast. I want to see the gravy kip. You know, I think Robert Hi-Fi Vega needs to patent that phrase. I think that's a patentable phrase for him. 2010 Harley Dyna FXD, that's the username. Where's the link to buy the headphones for autism? Okay, there's no link to buy them per se. You do have to buy them from kicker.com. So if you're looking for the headphones themselves, you just go to www.kicker.com. You go to the home and personals or home and portable selection lifestyle, drop that down. It'll show you all the products. But to get the discount, you first have to send an email to social@kicker.com, and that's just how it sounds, just the word social, SOCIAL, @kicker.com. And in the subject line, like I said, put autism or autism promotion, and all you need to put in that email is your email address. Bill will collect them from that email account, social@kicker.com. He will forward them over to the appropriate person in that department, and then they'll be in charge of reaching back out to you through that email you provide and getting you the promo code. It's the first 100 people who apply, and to those people we will be providing that promo code. And again, it's the honesty system. We're really hoping that people with autism, or if someone you know has autism, that you will make sure that code is used for them. We're hoping that people aren't just getting headphones at a discount. We really want this to be for someone who has autism and is living with that. So keep that in mind. It is the honor system. But to get the discount code, you do have to email social@kicker.com first with your email address. So thanks for asking that. Custom Splice, watching live from Lawrence, Kansas. Lawrence, Kansas in the house. Thanks for tuning in, man. We appreciate it. That's your neighbors. You're just right across the border there. Back before they actually had 6 Point available in Oklahoma, I made a lot of runs across that border. So I consider that my back door. What's up, Kicker family? From Rob McLeod. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Bobby Burkett, Kip at Kicker. The goat says hi. Oh, man, Bobby. All right. I don't have my phone on me. I take everything out of my pockets when I put it on. I forgot to get it. Bobby sent me a picture, which is pretty cool. We'll have to get it and put it on next week's show. But his one of his mama goats had a litter of, I guess, I don't know if babies is the right word, but had baby goats. And he actually sent me a picture of him holding one, and he actually named it Kicker. So there's actually a goat out in the field right now that has the name Kicker on it, and I think that's pretty cool and appropriate. Thanks for that picture, Bobby. Sorry, I completely forgot to get that out of my phone to get it to Ernie as an asset tonight, but we'll get that on camera absolutely next week. I want people to see that. Mike Ingberg, I seen that Lima, Ohio here. I went by so quick, but I see it. How you doing, man? Good to see you here and joining us on the show. I'm just looking here at the comment section. Is there a coupon code for Deviant's Dragon? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think we have a coupon code to buy Deviant's Dragon. I don't think Deviant wants to sell his dragon, but you never know. Have to reach out to Deviant and kind of give him a solid. Shade Tree Living. Hey, there's one there. My son has autism. It is so touching. Hey, can you get that up on the screen, please? It's right in the middle. Shade Tree Living. Can Sandy or somebody get that up on the screen, please? Thank you very much. Shade Tree Living. My son has autism. It's so touching to see a company that stands for people like my family. It really makes my day to see this. Shade Tree Living, thank you. You know, it's top down here at Kicker, and you know, Steve Herbie has a heart, a huge heart, and all these type of things he does recognize, and we as a company participate in local events as we can, in charity events, anything like that to help promote and help people in those situations. This was something that came up, great idea, so we thought promoting it here through Unmasked Live would be fantastic. So please reach out, social@kicker.com. Just up in the subject line, put autism or autism promotion, and then give us your email address. And like I said, we're going to compile all those email addresses, get them over to the person who's in charge of that, and he will reach back out to you and get you a promo code for that. And you'll be able to get a set of Cush NCs at 50% off. That is an extremely deep deal. And the Cush NC, I know there are several people in this feed that have actually bought and owned the Cush NCs, myself as well, but I work for Kicker, so you know, take what I say with a grain of salt. But the Cush NC is a fantastic fitting, fantastic feeling headphone. The noise cancellation works great, and that's a huge benefit for someone who would suffer from that stimulus, that sensory overload. So thank you for that comment. I'm glad we can do that little bit to help you in your daily life. Deviant for life. I get home from work and Beardy makes me run to the mailbox. He just did a full body shed to look his best, as he put it. Did you get that shirt? I'm assuming you did. You said you made a run to the mailbox. Those who tuned in saw that. We actually had some fun with that. And so his bearded dragon has got a Kicker shirt. It's not a koozie. It's actually a shirt. Kind of looks like a koozie with a drawstring on it, but it's actually a shirt. It's pretty cool. James Goki, hour away from Lima and driving. Hey, James, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you on the feed. Deviant for light? Not yet. Okay, Deviant, let us know. When you get that, we definitely need a picture of your Beardy wearing that shirt. Living Loud with Andy. Cush NC headphones are the best set I've ever had, hands down. That's a pretty good testimonial. Now, Andy is, and I use the word rabid in a positive way, Andy is a rabid fan of the Kicker brand, and I think for all the right reasons. I mean, he loves what the product does, performs, works, meets specs, does everything he wants in his life, and for him to make that comment, that's very kind of you, Andy. Thank you for pulling that up there. Yes, the NCs, the Cush NCs, I think are absolutely fantastic. Looking through the feed here, DLA party, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else in here. I'm going to check my computer here real quick. I like to try to get as many comments from you guys up as I can. Tony, hello from Salt Lake City. Hey, Tony, thank you for joining us tonight. If it's your first time, man, thank you. If it's your second or third time, thanks for coming back. And speaking of that, and I'm not going to, I know there's a lot of people that are here in the feed and they're going to pull out what I call the soft rubber mallet and let you guys know. But when the show's over tonight, seriously, if you guys got something good out of this, if you enjoyed what we've got going on here, if you could on the way out the door, just hit the like button on your way out. We don't monetize these videos. That's not what it's about. And it's not for that reason. It's just that when we get data like that shows you like the content we're doing, you like what the show is about, it helps us plan future shows and helps us, you know, kind of present to the bigwigs our plans, what we're doing, and they can see that there's actually positive traction in this and people are enjoying it. So it's really a tool to help us. It's not about money or anything. So don't worry about it right now, but on the way out, smash that like button if you enjoyed it, so that gives us something to go on. High Five Vega, Mr. Berg in the house tonight. Picks, Deviant, 100% Kip. Lots of great comments here. Looks like I'm going to do one little quick at my laptop here, see if there's anything here. So I'm going to say I'm going to wrap up the comments for right now, because what we've got planned for you, if you were tuned in last week, you know that our plan was to do a complete tour through Kicker. Ernie and I went out into the facility with a roaming camera, and we shot some live video to kind of show you, if you were here and you were walking through the building, what you'd see and how you'd experience Kicker, and then we're just going to voice over it. I reached out to Robert Hi-Fi Vega because he had been here on the tour, and he's probably at least the second or the third hardest working man in the 12-volt YouTube, Facebook world as far as when it comes to videos. And I had him join us last week, and it was a great time. We didn't get all the way through, and then after that, it was like, hey, you know, how about this person join? How about this person join? And someone reached out and said, yeah, I'd love to get on the feed with you. And so the guys that are going to be joining us tonight are each rock stars in their own right, and I mean that sincerely. They are fantastic people. They're great at what they do. One of them is actually, 9 to 5. He makes a living as an installer, and one of the best installers that I've ever seen do work with. I mean, you look at his attention to detail and what he does, I don't think they come much better than him. He's definitely focused on that. And the other two are rock stars in the YouTube world when it comes to 12 volt and anything around car audio or fun or things like that. And even the guy who does it for a living, he has his own stuff that he does. So I'll bring each of those in individually here in just a second. But we're going to do part 2 tonight with these guys joining us. And so basically we're going to start off where we ended. We're going to walk through the video here. And the cool part is these guys have been here, they've seen it for themselves, and they might have an interesting perspective or take on it or things that they might have to add that'll make it real interesting for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to start at the bottom of the screen. I don't have a particular order, but let's start with the guy we ended with last week, and that would be Mr. Hi-Fi Vega. Robert, come on into the feed. Hopefully Sandy can figure out how to do it. Hey, there's my man.
How's it going?
How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good, man. Ready
you
to
looking
roll.
good?
See the tour. Yeah. I got my shirt on. I've got my sign over here.
I was just going to say that's a mighty nice Kicker Impulse sign you got in the background.
Yeah, I was ready. I'm ready to roll.
Ready to roll. Well, thank you for joining us and coming back for tonight's show. Obviously, you were here and did a tour. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show last week. And I wasn't trying to snub the other two gentlemen. It's just I feel bad if I keep reaching out and have you guys on the show because I feel like I'm eating up all your time. But they wanted to get on the show, so I'm going to bring them right in to join us. And so when you and I were done, you suggested that we have your good friend and partner in crime doing videos, Derek Williston, join us from Old School Stereo or Williston Audio Lab. So let's bring him on board. Hey, there he is, hey. Big D.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Thanks
for having me, Kip. I did want to say real quick, Bobby made a great comment that was somehow missed, but he said he felt like a winner every week because he watched Unmasked live.
You know, I'm going to say that since you brought that up, I'm sincerely humbled for all of us. And what that comes from is on my off time, I do try to watch a lot of the other stuff that's on because I'm an enthusiast just like you guys. And I missed 12-volt talk the other night. But I caught it right after it was over. And it was because I had personal stuff going on at the house and I couldn't get into the live feed. And so in the back of my mind, I'm all like, so if I join their feed live, they know I'm there. They can see my name or whatever scrolling by. So, maybe these guys feel like they have to cater or say something because Kip's there because it's Kip from Kicker. But really when I'm there, it's just Kip. It's not Kip from Kicker. It's just Kip hanging out and enjoying what you guys are doing. And so I got to watch that feed after the fact, so it's not like I was in there. And you guys said some very nice things about what we're doing here at the Unmasked Show. And one of the things that you said, and I hope I can paraphrase it correctly, is you felt it was one of the best produced 12-volt shows that's on YouTube right now. And that really kind of set me back a little bit.
Absolutely it is, and I think there's no doubt. I'm surprised more people aren't here every week watching it live because you guys do a fantastic job. Not just because Rob and I are here. I mean, that helps. But I'm just kidding. The fact that you guys just produce awesome content. You provide a lot of education, too. There's a lot of things that, people may think they know about, but you guys go deep into subjects, and there's just a whole lot of good information here. I'd encourage everybody to make sure you watch every week.
Well, I don't think a compliment could have more sincerity or depth for me than coming from you, especially after meeting you in person and understanding you as a person. And I was really touched that you said that. And I know all of us here at Kicker, besides the 5 of us that come in here every Tuesday night, put this thing together. I mean, it's the whole Kicker family. We're really proud of what we've put together here, and for you to make such a compliment. And I wasn't even there to hear it live. It was just like, wow, I was touched.
We give props where they're due, and they're due, Kip. You guys do a great job. So. Keep
Thanks.
it up.
Humbled. We will. We'll do it. Hey, when I feel like we're not doing it right, I'll just come watch more of your stuff and get back on track.
Oh, no. Or off track. More like off track, but we'll take it.
I'll take it either way. And then last but not least to the party, Dean reached out to us and he's like, hey, I'd like to be on board for this ride. So we've got Dean himself from 5 Star. And as Robert, he's got the best introductions I've ever heard for this guy. You know, the man who never sleeps, the king of 12-volt installation, the guy who keeps every wire tie manufacturer in business. Dean from 5 Stars joined us tonight. Thank you, sir.
Hey, I just want to say, when Bobby tells you he will pick you up at the airport, Bobby's picking you up at the airport, okay? There's no question about that. And he will circle around and cuss. Or beat, well, okay, he might not cuss. He might beat on his steering wheel. But there goes Bobby.
He'll be there?
You'll know when he goes by, because he's like these two guys. These two guys. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. But Bobby's a great guy. We had the pleasure of hanging out with him when we were in California for Knowledge Fest. And it was him, his wife, and his daughter. And we had a blast. He's a really cool guy. He's got a great family. So we had a good time. So he sends me pictures every time it snows.
Every time it snows, you know it? That's funny. So, Dean, thank you for spending your time with us here tonight. I mean, you are obviously it's a 9-to-5 job for you as being an installer, and a darn good one from everything that you are filming and showing everyone. And then you've got your own second life that you run on YouTube that, you know, kind of centers around your life there in the install bay. And then you also do some other stuff. Is it The Life of Haley, if I've got it right, I think?
The Boring Life of Dean and Haley.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew I had it wrong, but I knew you'd get me right.
Oh, no, that's okay.
So I know you're a busy man, always shooting it in video like these other two guys over here, if I get my directions right. It's hard looking at a screen and getting your thumb to go the right direction. It's just completely counterintuitive.
Yeah. I mean, we, you know, as if it's not enough, this guy up here decides that he wants to go and do a movie review channel. So, you know.
I saw that. I watched that too.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's the newest thing we're gonna, because I mean, it was kind of the natural transition of things, because we talk about that for like the first 20 minutes on the show that we do, which I can never remember the name. I don't know why. But I know it just gets lost in the ether. But so it was like, hey, why don't we make this a thing? So was it the 29th? We're gonna do our first show
next Thursday.
Next Thursday, we're gonna do our first show. We're gonna. So we'll talk about it more on our Thursday show. We already picked out the movie. It's super excited. So we'll have fun.
And I've already volunteered both of you to be on it at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure. My whole thing is we gotta have guests, because we gotta have guests. I mean, it's just like, who doesn't like movies?
I'm totally in for that. I mean, I want us to get to the actual thing we're here for, which is the tour, but I'll touch on that real quick. I mean, I'm so into it that I'm fortunate right now to be building a new home with my wife, and I've got a bonus room upstairs, and I'm building the whole room around the whole Atmos surround sound system. And I say this seriously, not just jokingly, but I need 4 L7X15s or 18s to find a home in each corner of the room. I need it.
So what is everybody building homes right now? Because I mean, John's building his home right now, and we all got pictures of his cool subwoofer enclosures on the wall. You know, what the heck?
You know what? Fortunately for me, I'm a little further than I started before John, so I'm actually dried in. I'm under roof, so all the lumber's in there, and I got that done before the current price increases on lumber. Because I would hate to be building a house right now with the way lumber is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why we use plastic, but plastic's ridiculous now too.
Exactly. So I'm in the stage right now where, you know, everyone's out of the house, the plumbers, electricians, it's dried in, it's roof, the windows and doors are in. And so I'm running all my low voltage wiring and my Ethernet and all that cool stuff in the house. And so I'm at the point where I'm ready for brick. And so I called down to the place to order brick for the house, and the brick my wife and I have picked out is, I might see it by August. So everything on planet Earth is on back order, including brick.
So basically what you're saying is they're going to show up right around the time of the Solo X?
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, probably. When the brick hits, the brick will hit.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let Sandy Sue back there take control and do what she needs to do. Ernie, if you'll bring up the feed from the laptop up here, I've got the video. We're going to start part dos of the Kicker Tour. We're going to start where we left off last week. There it is. Go ahead and bring that up full screen. And you gotta, hey Sandy, you gotta add them back in the stream. You gotta add all the people back. Add them back. Add back. Add Robert back. There you go. Now you have to click Ernie's thing and take it full screen. Don't remove them. Just, we're training here. No, don't remove. Click the solo icon to the left right there. Just the face. There you go. Click it. Boom, baby, we're back.
Heck yeah.
You guys here? We still got your mic. Sandy removed you from the stream. That wasn't
We
going to
are
work.
here.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do, we actually got through this section last week. I'm going to take off here again, and we'll start from this section. And what this is, we're walking into here, this is actually an amplifier test area. And if you can notice what's really cool about this, just to rehash this, these are actually L7 woofers that guys in engineering have cut the cones, a lot of the cone out, and they put it in boxes that aren't boxes, so that these really don't make much sound. They're wired out of phase, they're not in a real box, they're opened up. But what it allows us to do is we can put amplifiers under test under a real reactive load. And I know, especially with both Hi-Fi and with Derek, you guys are always doing amp tests, but a lot of those tests are done under a resistive load or a fixed resistor, so you can get power at how many, whatever the impedance may be. And that's an important test, and we do that as well. But this is where we can actually put an amplifier under test, and we can actually do it under a reactive load as well as a resistive load, so it's an actual speaker that's playing. And what's cool, we actually set these up, it's actually an electric motor that is turning a car alternator, and then it's feeding a battery. And so this is as close as you can get to a real electrical system in a car, because it's a real electrical system from a car. It's an alternator and a battery. And our engineers can then put those amplifiers under test, whatever testing they may do, whether it's thermal run times, voltage, whatever testing they may be up to doing. But the cool part is the computer, I'm gonna back up here just a second. That computer you can see right there is actually a station that keeps track of all the information coming from these test stations. So they can go back after all the testing's done, and they can look at the data. They can look at temperatures and voltages and anything else they want to see that they were doing under test, but it actually puts an amplifier underneath as close as we know how to make a real world test with a real world electrical system out of a car. And that's pretty cool. So a lot of you last week already saw this, but
when we first came into the shot, there was those 4 boxes stacked on top of one another. Those have 6x9s in them, right? And total sealed enclosures for testing highs amps. Those things on the right there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, they're like 6x9 sealed boxes,
yeah,
so
right
they don't
there.
make everyone go deaf. Yeah.
Exactly. You're correct. Those are 6x9s, and it's in a totally sealed box, so the sound stays inside the box, but it gives us a reactive load to test if we're doing a full range signal. You're absolutely correct on that. And then I don't want to give away the secrets to the farm, and I don't know where they're at in this. I give them away anyway, it doesn't matter. But next to these woofers, as we're panning through here, if you look at that rack that's sitting there, what's really cool about that, yeah, what's really cool about that is actually something our engineers have developed, and it mimics the reactive load of a speaker without being a speaker. And it's pretty crazy. I couldn't open the door and show the insides because it's kind of proprietary. It's something our engineers designed. But if you were here live, I'd take it. I mean, I think actually I did open the door for Derek and Robert when they were here and let them take a look. But it's something really cool our engineers came up with that allows them to do testing. But it's reactive like a speaker, but it makes no sound at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I got to talk to the guy that built those, and he showed me his blueprints, and I got to hold one of those things, man. Oh my gosh.
It's cool. It's amazing what our guys come up with and what they do. And it's all in the vein, a lot of times, over the years, I've been with KICKER direct. I've been here working at KICKER for 25 plus years. I was a rep before that for a couple years, and then I worked at a retail store for several years before that, and KICKER is one of the lines. So I have a 35 plus year history with KICKER as a brand, along with a lot of other brands that you guys know in everyday world. And the thing that's cool is that after getting here, experiencing KICKER as a rep and then actually coming here to work here direct is, as a rep, some people would say, oh, KICKER's just a manufacturer. KICKER just buys stuff and puts their name on it and they just sell it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what's refreshing and what I like about these tours, and that you guys get to experience them, so when people ask the question, you've got, the real answer, is that we're not a manufacturer. I mean, we do it all here in-house. And, last week you saw the labs, acoustic and electrical, and of course that's a testing station there, but we just don't put our name on stuff. We design and engineer it here right in-house.
It would be neat to see this warehouse like a year and a half from now when it's back to its normal capacity. Yeah. You couldn't see any of this stuff, man. It was literally the Ark of the Covenant was over in the far corner. You had no idea where any of that stuff was. This is empty.
It is empty compared, and to be honest with you, Dean, it actually looks full right now compared to what it has been in the last 6 months. As one of the sales guys here came up with the phrase, he said, our warehouse currently looks like Swiss cheese, mostly holes, no cheese. And it's been an interesting run with all this stuff that's been going on, with the logistics and supply chain and manufacturing, but it's coming back around. I think the rest of this year is still going to be a little squeaky, but we're in a great position. We're in a lot better position than most. So I'm proud to say that, we're doing okay. What I stopped here and took a picture of real quick is we actually have up on top of that platform, we actually have a backup air compressor. So we have an air compressor that's in the facilities for the guys to use, whether it's back in the shop or over in production. And then there's a backup compressor up here. So if anything goes down, they can have air back up in about 5 minutes. And then there is a huge, that box you can see there at the top, it's kind of green. That is a generator, natural gas generator that runs the facility. So if we were to completely lose power, we're back up and running in seconds. So that's pretty interesting to have that kind of capability. You can see the generator at the right, or the air compressor at the right, and the Jenny there on the left. And part of that is because since we do OE manufacturing here for automotive, they actually have requirements that, your lines have to be able to get back up in a certain amount of time. They want to make sure they're getting provided product. And so a lot of that so that we don't go down. If we lose power, we can still stay running.
And there's a bathroom up those stairs. I can speak for that personally.
You can, absolutely.
And Kip, the other thing too, the size of the facility I think is important, because just to put in perspective, you're around 300,000 square feet. Is that right?
If you count the upstairs mezzanine section that's out in the warehouse, which we'll see that when we get to that part, but there's some offices that are on a second floor up there. If you look at the total square footage, we're about 350,000 square feet.
Okay, so just a perspective for people who don't understand the size of that, the typical super Walmart is about 100,000 square feet. So this facility is the size of 3 super Walmarts.
Or an IKEA.
Or an IKEA.
I tell you, if we're the size of an IKEA, then I want the lunch break eating area like an IKEA, because the food at IKEA is actually pretty bomb.
You trying to say those vending machines you guys have ain't kicking it?
They're not IKEA.
No, they ain't.
And the ping pong table with the subwoofer. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. It's we got a pretty good. I mean, it's Oklahoma. We got a pretty nice setup. Just ask us. We'll show you.
Oh God.
So what we're entering here, this is the back door that we're coming into, and this is electronic repair. And so basically, guys, I'm going to pause right there for a second. You can see those 2 plexiglass windows at the end of the room. And basically, if any amplifier comes to Kicker for repair, it actually comes in on the room on the other side, and you'll see it. We'll go through that room in a second. And that amplifier gets logged into the system. Who's it from? Is it a customer? Is it a dealer? Is it an amplifier that's under warranty? Is it an amplifier that's out of warranty? All that information is associated and logged into the system because they find what's called an RA number. So to send any amp back to Kicker or any speaker for repair, you have to call in and get an RA number. And then once it is ready for repair, they actually lay them up into that door, and then they come into the room. And you can see as we go through, I'm trying to remember, I think there's 8 or 10 individual stations where these guys can work and repair amplifiers.
But
and Ernie's just doing a run through here.
That's the AP. He's doing the final AP test. Yeah.
Correct.
And there's a classic amp on the counter right there.
Yes. So Ernie, the day we were in there, I mean, this is just what they were doing. We didn't give them any heads up. We just went in and caught them during a work day doing their thing. And the thing is, we can repair just about any Kicker amplifier from any generation. Now, there are limitations. Sometimes if certain parts are no longer available or things like that. But there's going to be a photo coming up here. It's pretty cool. I want to show you. We actually snuck in and got a little closer here so you could see what he was doing.
He gave you the stink eye.
He did. He talked to us a little bit. He's a fantastic. He's been here, I think, longer than I have. He's been working back there. But this is where Ernie's got a shot there, some power supplies, and there's another AP, as you can see on that side. But they repair those amplifiers here, and I had Ernie. I pulled these off because there's a stack of them sitting there, and this is what I wanted to show you. I'll pause it when he gets. It took Ernie a second to actually focus on what I wanted him to show here.
Come on,
Ernie. There you go. Come on, Ernie. There you go. You almost got it. Almost. There you go. Bingo. So if you can look at that, that says KX650.4, and it's got version 2.4. So that means obviously that's a mini rev board with changes we made into it over the years. But that says 2003. And so we do try to keep parts, including circuit boards, in stock for old amplifiers so that we can repair them. And I bring that up because there does come a point to where we can't have circuit boards forever. When we do run out of one, if you toast your circuit board, that would be a case where if you send us an amplifier, we can't repair it if the board's bad. But we do have stuff that goes back that far. And we try to keep a good stock in-house that's reasonable so we can service amplifiers for a really long time out in the field.
Oh, I do remember shaming you guys about the angled terminals right here at this very spot. And the Amtex did agree with me. I will say that.
Here I'm going to give you the patented Kip wink. You're not the first person or persons to bring that up as a conversation. And moving forward on Kicker amplifiers, I think the angle's going to go away.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
It's so much fun.
That was both eyes. You know what's interesting about that? I was actually around in the time when we actually went to those angled terminals, and at that time frame, it actually made a lot of sense because of the way wires were brought through amp racks, and it did help you a little bit in those days. But with everything that's going on today, we realize that just coming out straight's the way to go. So we are going to do running changes, and moving forward, you probably won't see those anymore.
Yeah, blame Dean for that. It's his fault.
Yeah. So have we noticed that there's two war horses within 15 feet of each other, right? We've all picked up on that.
and we know a couple people in this stream that don't have one either, right, Rob?
Right.
You just got to know the right people. I'm just saying.
I mean,
so what you're saying?
Well, Dean, you get the quad box first, and you get the war
go.
horse. I mean,
Here
come
we
on,
go.
we know who the favorite here is.
I spent 3 days out there with these guys, man.
I'm just giving you a hard time. You deserve it.
So this, obviously, you bring up the war horse. This is the second one that sits back there, and it's obviously been signed by Steve Irby, and it's got the cover off, so it's on display because people even today want to talk about and look at the war horse. It is a unique amplifier. There's nothing even today that meets the efficiency that amplifier did back when it was brand new.
And it's hard to believe, Kip, how big those transformers are unless you put your hand up against it because they're massive.
They are. Only 10,000 watts. I mean, come on. Surely that would be at least 100,000 watts by today's standard.
If all you want to play 60 hertz, I know where you can get 100,000 watts.
I know you do.
It's just I'm not crawling up the pole to get it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So that is the war horse. But then back here, as we come through. Offices to the right there, nothing really, just offices for the people who manage the area and work back there. Lance, great guy, he's been here longer than I have. But this right here is where anything and everything that is defective or comes in the Kicker for warranty starts in this room. So if it's an amplifier, it gets logged into the system, they get the RA to match, they get the paperwork and everything, and they put it in that window to go on over to ER. We call it that ER for electronic repair. If it's a speaker, these guys completely tear it down. They will cut it apart, and then they log in everything that's wrong with that speaker. So if it had a puncture in the surround with a screwdriver, a puncture in the cone, whatever they might see, if it had a torn tensor lead, if it had a bent frame, bent basket, anything they can find, they log that into the system, and then they cut it open, and then they log the damage that they can see inside. So if there's a burnt voice coil, if there's a shucked voice coil, if it's a locked up voice coil, they log all that information because we keep track of all that info so that we can use that to determine if we're staying within our tolerances as far as what we like to see for a defective rate. And I like to brag about this because I think it's a pretty big deal. The industry standard for 12-volt automotive, the standard is somewhere between 12 and 15%. That tends to be the defective rate for 12-volt. We have worked hard over the years, very hard, to ensure that that doesn't happen for us. And we are actually in about the 1.75% range when it comes to defectives. So that's the average for us as a brand. So, 15-inch subwoofers, which get abused a lot, they're more than 1.75. 10s and 12s that don't get abused as much, they're a little lower than 1.75. But as far as a brand average, we sit at 1.75% as far as our defective rate. And we're proud of that. And so if we start seeing abnormal returns, or if the guy, Tim Sizemore, starts seeing a lot of things in columns that shouldn't be there, then that's his flag that it's time to start asking questions. Is there a materials problem? Is there an issue with assembly? Whatever it may be, he asks those questions. So,
didn't you say that a lot of these returns were actually functional, like a big majority of them that you get?
Yes, we get a lot of returns that I like to call weekend warrior remorse. Buy it on Friday and broke on Monday, and they end up taking it back to whatever dealer they're dealing with. And unfortunately for us, a lot of that stuff ends up back in our doorstep as a quote-unquote warranty return. It's an extremely high percentage of product that we get back that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Unfortunately, after that happens, we can no longer sell it as new, and it becomes what we call B stock. And we do have outlets where we provide our B stock goods. They come with a reduced warranty and, of course, a lower price for that. They may have cosmetic blemishes or things like that, but we can't and don't. It's ethical, it's moral, and it's legal. We don't sell used product as new product. So we have to find the right outlets for that product to go, because we have to get some money back out of that. And the only thing that kind of goes against that is looking right here. If you can see, this is cast basket woofers. Those are either CVXs or Comp Qs sitting right there. Let me back up here just a second. And right there, you can see those are some L7Q frames. When the guys are going through and they're doing the warranty returns on speakers, coax speakers, they go into the recycling bin. So everything there on a coax goes out, and then we have a person that buys that from us, and it goes to recycling. Stamped steel woofers, those all go into recycling. We recycle every bit of that. The steel, the plastic, copper, all that gets recycled. On the cast frames, as long as the cast frame is not broken, and as long as the cast frame, it doesn't have a voice coil that's locked up down in the gap that doesn't come out cleanly, we save all these structures and we rebuild them right here at Kicker. So we save up the frames. When we get enough of them, then we actually do run down our production line that we have here in Kicker, and we rebuild those from scratch. We demagnetize them, clean them, put in all new soft parts, remagnetize them, do testing on them, put them in a box, and they become, now those we can use for B stock, and we can use those for warranty replacement, because motors don't wear out, the frames don't wear out, the soft parts are all brand new, so it's essentially a brand new speaker. The best way I like to tell people, it's like rebuilding an alternator. The case on the outside may be used, but everything inside is brand new. The bearings, the brushes, everything there is new, and so that we do that with all the cast frame product.
May I suggest a name for that? You can call that the RVH.
We could.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Want to remind everyone real quick, just remember 8:30 Central Time, the contest for tonight wraps up. You got about 12 to 15 minutes if I'm looking at the clock right, somewhere around there. Be sure you get in on that contest for tonight. Why I pause there real quick is that's actually OE product that's kind of stacked up, ready to go out, and we're walking out of the warranty returns area, and this is walking back into the OE bay and what we call our tech bay, special forces. So
yeah, Derek got caught up a lot on the signage and the promotional stuff. We were picking things up that had dust all over them. It was a good time.
There are a lot of these signs, end up, we put them around all the building, like the Stillwater Designs, which we are Stillwater Designs and Audio. Kicker is the brand name everyone knows, but we are Stillwater Designs and Audio Incorporated. Our vision is to be the most innovative and respected car audio manufacturer in the world. And that's on every level, not just product, but how we operate as a company, how we treat people, how we interface with our community and the world. I mean, we truly try to be an innovative company and to be respected. And if you've been here, you've seen that. I think people get it.
Hey, Kip, I see a question real quick.
Go.
Somebody asked about new old stock. Do you guys keep old equipment that hasn't ever sold and you occasionally sell it, or you just don't have anything like that?
What we typically do on that, Derek, is when we end of life a product, so when it goes end of life and we're no longer going to sell it as a new goods, they actually they statistically analyze the number of returns we've seen on that product for its lifespan. So whether it was a 3-year run or a 4-year run or a 2-year run, however long that product run, we look at how many returns we got over its lifespan, and then we keep enough product so that that product could be out in the field, and if someone encountered a defective, they could return it, and we try to have 18 months of that sitting here. So that gives it, a dealer could have it sit on his shelf for an additional 6 months, even though it's end of stock, end of life, it could sit on his shelf 6 months, and then there'd still be a year warranty that we'd be able to cover on that product. And then at the end of that run, once we feel like we've flushed all that product out that's end of life, and we've got any of that product that we held back for warranty to cover that left, we then move that through discount channels. So that does go out into the marketplace. It's old, but it's brand new product, but we want to make sure that we've got enough held back to cover 18 months after we end of life a product.
Makes sense. Thanks.
This shot right here, as Ernie and I are walking by, and we didn't go in, and there's a reason for it. This is actually an install bay that's inside the warehouse. And when we get, I'm sure anybody here who follows cars, you've seen those cars in Car and Driver magazine or on the online where they got the funky colors and stripes and pads and everything around a new car so that you can't really see the body lines or tell what it is because they're trying to hide the new model cars. They really come that way. And when we're working on an OE project, they are delivered at night. They only bring them in under dark. They back them up off the truck, and then we have to bring them into the warehouse, and they have to go into this OE bay and be hidden. And only the people who are working on the project are allowed to be around that vehicle to keep its identity clad in secrecy until it's ready to be released. Because a lot of times we're working on OE projects that are 2 to 3 years out, so we're seeing vehicles that are 2 to 3 years from actually coming into the market.
Yeah, when I was there, you guys had the Chevy. You were just finishing up the Chevy speaker, tailgate speaker.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah. And what's pretty cool here is we're walking around. This is actually, we have a vac forming machine here, and this allows us to pull plastics. It allows us to pull surrounds. It allows us to pull passive radiators. We can pull parts, and the OE guys use this a lot. Because they actually hand build the soft tool and then pull the plastics to make the OE enclosures that we do for OE vendors. And so what you see here right now is just kind of funny, but that's sitting there. That's actually a bike fairing that's sitting there on that big pallet. So they were actually pulling a bike fairing for a bike at one point for testing. And then what's up there in the thing, and I didn't get a close enough view of it, that's actually a surround. Aaron Surratt, who's one of our guys here who's really involved in product development, he'll go back there and they can pull different durometers, thicknesses, materials, whatever they want on surrounds, and actually, you know, we can test them live before we actually go into doing any pre-production planning or prototyping. This was pretty cool. Anyone who's seen a saw stop, we just upgraded the shop, both the OE shop and the special project shop, the install bay. We just upgraded to saw stop saws, and they work. We've already chunked a blade into the aluminum.
Oh, jeez. It's better than losing
the
a
cool
finger.
part is, absolutely. The thing about it is the way it happened is the guys didn't know it. They were actually cutting plastic. And ironically, I knew about this and I should have shared it with them, but plastic has a property that it'll actually conduct enough electricity from your skin that the blade senses that it's actually contacting your skin through the plastic. So unfortunately, on a saw stop, when you're cutting plastic, you got to turn the safety off.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, you tend to cut a lot of plastic there, don't you, Dean?
That's all we cut.
Yeah, I know. I was being a little. As we're walking around the corner here, this is actually a lot of people may remember. That's actually Aaron Hagar. That's a rat rod build of his. Sammy Hagar's son, Aaron. We do some marketing stuff with him. That's actually, it'll be up in the museum here soon. And then this one with the Q-Class license plate. That's actually our own Dr. 12-volt John Myers, who he's actually up here on the right. That's his Mustang that has a full Q-Class system in it. So we're just walking through the back side of the install/OE bay. And then this, if you've ever seen any of the Kicker Tech videos or things that are on YouTube or when the guys do a live feed, this is actually the little studio that they do all the production for their stuff in right here. And so since they weren't using it, we just ducked in real quick to get a look at it.
Wow, they're definitely getting no love compared to what the show gets.
I know. That's why we do everything we can to get those guys on Unmasked, because I think it's great to have those on this show. It seems like they get better traction here. That monster right there, we'll see it in a second. Yeah, that's the monster. That's actually the XRV. Back up here a second. We unfortunately didn't get a walk through it because there wasn't any shore power hooked up to it at that second. And then, as I said in the beginning of the show, the XRV is actually out on the road going to Lake Havasu, so we weren't able to get back around. We'll actually do a walkthrough on the XRV on a future episode because it has a mini wall of boom in it as well. So this is our special projects install bay. This is where any vehicle or project that comes out of Kicker that Kicker itself does, this is where these are all designed, built, maintained. We have a couple lifts in there. Obviously the guys in their toolboxes and work areas. And then I think we walk into the wood room. And as you can see, there's a lot of banners hanging up here. These are all banners from previous like CES or SEMA shows, and once we use them for a show or something, and they kind of run their end of life, we find ways to put them through the building, just use them as decorating, marketing. And so here's the wood shop. Give you ideas
he's using
here.
A jigsaw, man. Come on.
And you can
gotta
see
do the rough cut.
He's doing the rough cut, exactly. As you can see here, they are just getting their new saw stop put in. And then you can kind of see in that back corner, I think that's a 2 foot by 2 foot CNC. And so we don't have a huge CNC machine back in the shop, but we do have that. And they can do logos, emblems, inserts, trim panels, all sorts of stuff like that. They can program it up and they can cut whatever they need to out of that 2 by 2 CNC.
And there is some animosity towards that because they do want a bigger one.
They want a bigger one, and the OE guys want a bigger one, and they keep championing to try to come together and get a 4x8.
Yeah, because that was the biggest thing. They were like, yeah, this is our CNC. Look how tiny it is. I'm like, oh my God. Wow, really?
That's cool.
I'm like, y'all need to lobby for a better one. It's Kicker, for God's sakes.
I know.
Come on, Steve, you got like 20 of those things.
And then this thing we're rolling around here, this is actually a display that the guys in the back worked up and put together and built. And this is for some of our marketing partners who are out in the field so they can roll it off the truck at a live event, roll it out. And it's just a way that they can show off the Kicker product that they're supporting or they're showing for us at that event. So that's a new display they were working on.
Me and Derek wanted some of those Kicker door stickers that's on the window.
Oh, yeah?
We never got those.
I'll have to get you some of those. You want some of those, that's not a problem. I'll make that happen. That's an easy request. So here's what's pretty cool. You know, they're working on a couple. We do live sound. We kind of build them in-house for marketing partners and special projects, but we do some live sound reinforcement. We use an L715S for the bass. And then, of course, this is coming up on the XRV, and it is a beautiful rig. This we take out to all of our big major events. It's got the truck, and then it's got the sleeper hauler on the back. You know, 6 or 8 of us can pile in and head down the highway and go to an event. But then the trailer, the front part of the trailer, actually has a mini boom room in it that's similar but not different. It's a little smaller than the one we have in the front of the building. And then the back of the vehicle, back up here a second. The back of the vehicle, back up a little bit more. Okay.
I think it started a new file.
It did. It started a new file. But then the back of the rig is got a kind of like a static showroom in it. It's got a little bit of all the different product categories, and it's all LED and lit. To really appreciate it, it needs to be lit up, and unfortunately there wasn't power that day for us to get in and do that. So we're going to do a tour of the XRV, and we'll bring it on to the Unmasked show here. It's just a quick 15 or 20-minute insert so you guys can all view that. Like I said, right now it's on the way to Lake Havasu. If you're in that area, bring that comment back up. You can see it there. Jesse Strawn, I feel like I'm watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory only for car audio. Tours me. Jesse, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Hopefully you are enjoying this. So we will get a tour of the inside of the XRV. Once that thing is back here at home base and it's fired up on shore power, we'll do a full walkthrough on the inside of that because it's really cool. If you happen to be in or around Lake Havasu, go check it out. It's going to be at the Desert Storm event this weekend. It'll be fully set up and operational, so go check it out. So Ernie, I'm going to go ahead and hit the pause button here, let it roll. So basically, this is where we went back into the OE Bay area. We just turned around and we're coming back through. So to the left here, the right was the warranty area that you see. The left, that's all outbound freight. So all those pallets you see stocked up with plastic around them, the guys are working on getting things out the door. And we have multiple docks here where we send product out. It typically, FedEx is our primary shipper, and what FedEx will do is they bring a truck. They bring a truck at night, they back a truck up to the door that's empty, and then they take the truck that's been filled that day and then they drive it off. So we rotate a truck every day. And then, of course, UPS comes. We have freight forwarders who use their own trucks. So like Best Buy, Walmart, they send their own trucks to pick up their stuff so they don't run through FedEx. And typically, it's usually a FedEx truck a day. Lately, it looks and feels like it's maybe 3 FedEx trucks a day. There's a lot of activity that's going on in shipping. I'm sure FedEx loves that because they get to make a lot of money on us. But it's been very, very busy in the shipping department because we have been shipping a lot of product out, a lot.
Dude, I
you
bet
guys
it's
need
so
your own
noisy with this
trucks,
thing.
kind of like Amazon. Sorry, Kip, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. That was Dean.
No, I was going to say, when we were filming there, when we were filming the amp dyno, because the amp dyno room, what we filmed is right down this hall. And gosh, man, it was like we had to stop because it was like beep, 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 beep. The forklifts just go nonstop.
Yes.
So it made filming quite interesting.
It does do that, and you know, there have been times where we've had a wild hair. We're like, let's shut down the forklift so we can do something. They're like, no, we can't shut down. You understand? You're gonna have to go around the forklift. We can't shut this down. It's like, well, we understand. So to give you an idea how this works, our warehouse in the back is really cool. It's broken into 3 sections. When we started off this video and we started walking through the warehouse, we were what we like to call the goes into part of the warehouse. That was receiving, QA and QC hold and all that over there. The far left side of the warehouse you saw as we were walking up, that's outbound freight. And then this middle section of the warehouse is the picking, where everything is done. So there's locators, and there's going to be a couple good close-ups here that you'll see, but everything's done by locators. Oracle tells the guys on forklifts where to go get product and where to put it in for locators. The orders are then spit out of the computer there on a sheet of paper, and it'll tell the guys, okay, this customer XYZ, he's ordered 10 of this and 3 of those and 14 of that, and basically tells them all the product they've ordered, and then tells them where it's located and how to go get it. And then they just literally they pick up we call them red carts. They just grab a red cart and go shopping through the warehouse and picking the product up. If it's so if someone's getting a pallet of stuff, which happens, you know, a forklift driver can go pick it up and bring it up. But I had Ernie, we had to walk through the yellow there because safety is a pretty serious thing we take here. But you can see the locators are up there. There's W15, W16, and the goods get moved around based on velocity. So if we're moving a lot of a certain SKU that month, or if tends to be a sale on something that's hot, we'll actually reallocate those products to a locator that's closer to the shipping line. That way the guys are actually walking less to get it done. And so product moves around dynamically, kind of based on how fast it's moving. But there's a lot of locators. It starts at A and goes up, and you can see that was W20. There's V20. So there's a lot of locators in here. There's another order guys pulling out and taking to the back door there. So it's really an efficient warehouse. This is the station where they pull all the orders off the computer. It spits out the pick ticket. It spits out the shipping label. And then these guys are here. They're packing and putting together. So we didn't give many heads up warning. We just walked through while they're doing stuff live. Thought it'd be kind of cool for you guys to see them actually putting orders together.
Then they show up on a big pallet, and we have to put it all somewhere.
It all goes somewhere until there's the red shopping carts I was talking about. I call them red shopping carts, but you know, they just grab those and they just tool around the warehouse. Avoid the forklifts because you don't want those over your feet. And then as we walk this direction, you can kind of see there at the top, that's the mezzanine area I was talking about. So there's a whole section of offices there. They're on that 3rd floor in the warehousing area. And so when you asked how big the facility is, I'm taking all that space into account, Derek, when you asked me how much room we take up here. And so there's more offices down that hallway as well. But then this area we're walking into, this is, the term we use internally, we call it rebuild. We just call it the rebuild area. It's kind of been a term that's stuck, and the reason is because we rebuild subwoofers in here. But these guys do a whole lot more in this area than just rebuild subwoofers. And right now, what you can see is they're actually running, that's the GM Multi-Tailgate Pro that's running down right now. And as you can see, and we've got another view when we come back that's even better as we're walking by there. It's my camera guy, Tim, I love him on. They've renamed it production, although for me, it's always going to be rebuild till the day I die because it was rebuild when I started here. But right now, they're running multi-tailgate pros through here. And you notice that there's TVs at each station there, and those TVs actually walk them through and show them a video process of how you do what you do at that station, so that if the guy who is trained just needs to refresh himself, or if it's a new guy being trained on the line, he actually has a video production above his head to show him exactly what to do and how to do at that station. Every day when they come in and start that line up, they recalibrate all the air tools and all the stops and clicks on them because everything has to be torqued to spec. To do work for OE, there's some definite hoops you have to jump through, and we strive daily to make sure those happen. So these are final assembled, tested, and everything right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So I thought that was pretty cool. We caught them on a day building those.
Yeah, I think the time when we were there, Kip, we were kind of not able to take any pictures or anything because I think it was early in the development of the tailgate speaker system.
Yes. Yes. There are certain hoops we have to jump through. So you can see this kind of a good view. You can see what's up on the screen. And it is, you know, either video or static images or both, whatever, to just remind them what they need to do at that station, what the criteria is. You could see there at one, it kind of said what the name of the station was and its order. So that's pretty cool. So we do a lot of those type of things there. But the production, like I said, I call it rebuild, but production, they do lots of things there. For example, and it's happened, I say this because it's actually happened, if we get a run of amplifiers in and the manual wasn't ready to go at the time of production, then what we have to do is we have to unbox every single amplifier here, open it up, put the manuals inside and rebox them. So they do that there. It's a lot of different projects can happen in that production area right there. So it's pretty cool they were doing the tailgate that day that we were able to see that. Now we're walking upstairs. This is the upper mezzanine. So this is above the production or rebuild area. And we're just going to walk through here. There's more offices to the left. You can see if we get out here, kind of get a view. You can see how high we rack 3 stacks high out here in the picking warehouse. And it's, as you mentioned, walking around in here, Dean, it's forklift busy all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. When we went and grabbed the amplifiers, we got a quiet moment. It was like, oh wow, this is so nice.
Yeah, that was rare, wasn't it? There's Matt Thomas. Hey, Matt, if you're watching, there you are. But this is purchasing right here, so we're just going to walk by. Understand this is still during the COVID thing that's going on. We still have a lot of people that some people are still working from home. Some people are doing a little bit at home, a little bit at work. So you're going to probably see a lot of empty desks and offices right now. It's not unusual for those of us who have been here for a while, but there are a lot of people who are still working from home. I think we're looking to try to have everyone back in the building about July 6th, I think is kind of our target where we're trying to get everyone back inside.
They kept that wall art back there was really cool that we went by. I didn't see that when we were there. I don't think we went this route, but go back just a little bit further. You're almost there. Yeah, right there in front of us, straight in front of us with the speakers.
Okay, what that is right there, I'll stop right there. That was done by either, and I have to give credit to either one of two people. That was either R. Campbell, and when I say R, that's his first name, just the letter R. It's not an initial. His name is R. Campbell, and he was one of our industrial designers, and the other one that's currently with us is David Justice. And they do renderings, and so that's some work. And Timmy here is telling me that this is from David, so he must know that's actually David Justice's work. And so those are actually renderings of product that he was doing to present to the design team, where sales and marketing and R&D get together and talk about how a product should look, what's the design language, where we moving, things like that. And when our guys do stuff like that, we find a way to incorporate all their art through the building as much as we can, because it's really cool. I mean, that was actually done to produce a product.
Dude, they had an awesome drawing of a set of L7 headphones hanging on. I was like, why did you guys not make these? And they're like, I no one wanted them. I was like, dude, those are awesome. They were just little, they were so cool.
This right here, this is Better Homes and Gardens best booth of the year that you're seeing right now. It's got a space for dogs, a little tiny area there, a refrigerator. That's actually Jolene's office.
Got a little bit of side eyes. You come around there.
I was gonna say,
oh yeah, she did.
Totally side-eyeing him.
Yeah, she did not like us invading her Better Homes and Garden space for the day. I mean, we'll get it here. Here it comes. There you go.
Yeah. What are you doing in my office? I'm trying to work here, and these chuckleheads are walking around with the video camera playing.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think she's just mad because that second monitor's not working, Kip. You guys need to fix that for her.
That I'm not sidestepping the issue, but that's an IT issue. We'll put in a request.
Okay.
But there are a
lot of this.
Well, it's funny you say that. Yeah. Walking straight ahead, you're going to see some offices with doors on them. That did not exist about a year ago, and they came in, and we actually need to have some more private offices and an area for testing and stuff. So they actually came in and did some remodeling on that end and put in some fixed offices. So yes, you are correct, Dean.
Yeah, tech support. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Ernie's up and over the wall. He's gonna. Pass blue ribbon. I don't know anything about that.
No, that's not
PBR, baby.
That's not PBR. And so here is Travis Reiki. Of course, we caught him. The last thing he wants to be is on camera, but Travis is a really cool guy, and he's in charge of our tech support staff up there. And so we got him on camera a little bit. This is another one here. Hey, Jacob. There's Jacob.
Yeah, he's totally not even paying attention.
Oh no, he's focused on the phone. And then this is an area set upstairs where they got, product, speakers, voltmeters, all the kind of stuff they need, source unit. And if a customer calls in and is having an issue, the guys from tech can actually go in here and try to recreate the issue, try to set it up the same way the customer has. So if they need to have some hands-on troubleshooting on our end to duplicate what the customer's calling about, they can do that right here in this room. So it's real convenient. It's right there for them. They can use any of the product that's stored underneath there. If they need different product, they can go grab it. But it's an area where they can test and tune and try to figure out what a customer may be talking about if they can't decipher it just from talking on a phone or try to recreate it.
I love the fact that they went as far as to put LED lighting behind the product. It's like, it's a test bench, but it's still going to have flashy lights.
It's a sexy test bench.
Yeah. That's exactly. I was laughing when I saw that. I was like, nice. Yep.
Of course, this is out on top of the mezzanine. This is kind of a break area where we have it, and I hope I don't butcher, but I think you pronounce it Stiga. But this is actually that ping pong table that people talk about that actually has a full Kicker audio system in it. It's pretty cool. And people play ping pong on it all the time during their breaks. Walking across the top here, this is coming across the top. I don't know where Ernie takes the camera next, but this is another, and I don't know who did this, but this is another piece of artwork. As you walk around the building, you'll find there's artwork everywhere in this place that people either inside the company or people outside the company have done and brought and given to the company as gifts. But there's a lot of artwork that floats around this place. And so walking in here, coming across the bridge, we're on the second floor now. In the office area. This is all marketing. As we're walking down the hall here, you can see this is all Big Air Bash stuff here to the left-hand side. So this is kind of tributes to the original Big Air Bashes. That picture right there is a bunch of dealers and reps out at a party we threw for them because we had a really good year.
Who's that guy on the left back there?
Back. That was Kevin Campbell.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually, I'm going to get him on the show. He doesn't know it yet, but Kevin's coming on the show. And I don't want to tell you why until we get him on the show because it's going to be a cool show. It's going to be a really cool show. So basically, as you're walking through here, right there to the left, I'm going to have Ernie come back. This is a little POP area that Sandy set up. And so we as employees can walk down and we can see all the POP that we have to offer at that moment. So shirts, hats, license tags, anything we've got. It's good for us if we're ordering stuff for ourselves personally, or if we're getting ready for an event and we need to have certain things to take the event, we can go down and see what it looks like and get the actual model number off of it so we can go order it for whatever we're doing. So that's kind of like our in-house POP shop right there to know what we've got available. That's carpet. Thanks, floor. Ernie. Good shot there. Yeah, that's a good shot of the floor.
All right, so
then
we're going to pass Lori's desk here.
Yeah, we are.
You guys, Lori's desk is right. Yep, we're just passing it. So there goes Lori's desk. And we passed Bill's desk. We just passed Bill Frog's desk, too.
So that's all offices. That's all sales management offices, the people who run the regionals here. Now you're down to here. There's more art. And you talk about artwork. This is all artwork. Some of it's posters, but like that right there, that is a piece of art that was actually done by one of our artists here at the company who works in graphic design. And it was something we asked them to do a bunch of stuff, said, look at our headphone products and just, go wild and do something. That's another piece of art that was actually done by Roger Demery on the right there. There's another piece. That one there's pretty cool. It's actually B-52 bombers dropping headphones out. It was pretty interesting. That was cool. Piece of art that Roger did. And then these are, obviously music is a big part of who we are at Kicker. I mean, that's why we do this. I mean, everything we make is to reproduce music. And so, music is a big deal here. In last week's show, you saw, our 3 meeting rooms down in R&D are named AC/DC, Marley, and Mac. And obviously for AC/DC, Bob Marley and Mac. So.
We just teleported into the warehouse.
We did. How did we do that? Maybe my thumb did something here. Hold on a second. Let me fast forward.
He got up to 88 miles an hour, I think.
I could say we were tripping, straight tripping.
So here we're coming out of the marketing area. We call that the glass onion. Yeah, that was Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
It was.
Hi, I'm Kip. I'm Dave.
Wicca.
There he is.
He's like, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Screw this.
You know what's funny about that is every now and again Dave will come over to me and he'll go, man, we need to do this and we need to do this, and it's all stuff to do with video. And I'm like, yeah, we can do that, Dave. Whatever, because he misses it. He does. It's pretty cool. It's and what's cool about it is we are going to do some stuff with Dave, but it's going to be for internationals. So, it's for some reason, I don't know why, but our international dealers and distributors, they just love Kip and Dave, and I'm asking myself why, but they do like it. So we're coming across. This is actually coming back in the museum. What's pretty cool here is we actually have our own 50-seat theater room where we can bring tours up if we want to show them a video. If we have our reps in and want to do a training or show some video, it's actually a 50-seat theater room. It's got, I know it doesn't look like it, but that's an 85-inch TV hanging there, and then it's got some line arrays that Tim and the guys built in the back that utilize our marine horn and mid-range drivers. And then there's 2 L7 15-inch subwoofers and tuned cabinets sitting in this room, one in the front corner and one in the back. It will get up and boogie.
Comes down the side wall, so if you're going to put a microphone in there, don't put it anywhere near the wall.
Nowhere near the wall.
Yeah, don't ask me how I know.
Yeah, you know, don't you?
Fortunately.
And then this is a pretty cool view. You know, this is the second level looking out over the lake, which if you saw the first part of the video, we started outside and came inside, so that's a really cool view. The top of this entire top area originally was going to be a car audio museum. And when I say car audio museum, I don't mean just for Kicker. We actually have a bunch of old product sitting on pallets, which is old car radios, an original record player that used to go in a car. We have tons, 8 tracks, 4 tracks. We've got all this history stuff of just kind of the history of car audio itself. And originally, that whole top area was going to be turned into a walk-through museum that was going to be around the history of car audio. And of course, when we moved into the building here and all this was in process, that's when that whole economy crash and everything happened between 2006, 2008, 2009, and that got just nixed. It was just the top's just not there. And so it was like, we'll do it when things get better. When things turn around, we'll come back around, we'll do this museum. But what's happened is over the years that since there's nothing up there, that space has been used to host weddings. There have been companies that come in and actually do other presentations here. Our whole facility has been recognized. There's someone in the state of Oklahoma where they recognize if you take an old building and repurpose it and bring it up to new standards. And they've done tours through here to show people what we've done with an old building as far as this goes. So there's a lot of things that happen up there. And so Steve is like, he wants to keep it that way. He doesn't want it to be the museum anymore. And so for a long time, we didn't know what was going to happen. If you remember, when we walked down through the downstairs part, there was what I called the mail room. I don't know if you remember me pointing that out to you, but it was in the hallway there, just around from IT, where it had all the glass cases with the product on display. We just kicked off a project where that is being totally remodeled right now, and the Car Audio Museum is going to go into that space. So it is going to happen, and it's going to happen in that space, and that's going to be really cool when we get that knocked off. I'm hoping the way they're working, I'll bet we see that done in the next 60 days. So that's going to be pretty cool that we are going to have the Car Audio Museum up and running.
Ooh, I have to make a trip.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You know, you talk about wanting to come back out. When we get that thing completed, that would be a perfect time to bring you guys out for another trip and visit. That'd be really a good time to do that.
For sure.
And so walking through, here we go. We're coming up. So right here, if you look to the, you can't see it, but to the left, this hallway right here to the left, that's where the Car Audio Museum is going in. I did it again.
Yeah, because you guys have glass cases right there now with some of the older stuff on it. Right.
Correct, we do. So this whole, from this door, that door you can see right there on the left, they've pulled that door and they've put it across the hallway the other direction to kind of block that whole area off. And so that entire hallway that you walk through, plus what used to be the mailroom, that's all being turned into the Car Audio Museum. It's going, and it's in process right now. Like right now, there's plastic there, there's carpenter guys in there right now doing drywall work, and they're redoing paint, and they're all doing all sorts of work. So it's in process right now. So when I say it's coming, I mean,
I've got a donation to bring for that. I've already talked to you about it.
Yes, we need to do that, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. There we go. There's all the original stuff.
Here's the original stuff, and so Ernie was walking through. I had to get him to get the camera down on this. Some of the original product. Those little ones right there that are right to the right of my picture-in-picture, that's actually a stage monitor that Steve built back in the days when it was Stillwater Designs and Audio. There was no Kicker, and that is actually a stage monitor for a performer that he built. That's an original one right there. And then what's even cooler is this right here. And this is, I can't remember if it's a 15 or an 18. I think it's an 18. 18-inch bass bin that Steve built back in the original Stillwater Designs and Audio days when he was in the old store down on Main Street. And I don't know if you can see it, I don't think we got a good enough close-up, but the tag says Still Space Water Designs, and that's what the original name was Stillwater Designs. And this came up on a Craigslist listing, and Tracy Foch saw it, and this is a couple years back, and he came to me and said, look what I found. And he said, you think I ought to go buy it? And I was like, I would, why not? So Tracy actually went and bought this. It was in Tulsa, and this guy had it, and it still works. And this is original from like 1974, 1975. It's crazy how far back this thing goes.
So for all
that's
you
in the
guys
museum
that
now.
keep asking for a home audio subwoofer, that's as close as you're gonna get. That was it. That's as close as you're getting to home audio sub right there, guys.
Dean, I've been asking for a home audio subwoofer when I was a retailer and selling Kicker products, so never give up hope.
We're never going to give up.
Yeah,
Don't
whatever.
give up.
Keep asking. Well, hey, I remember a conversation with Steve years ago when he says, "I'm never going to make loudspeakers." And I go, "Okay." Yeah, those marine speakers. I don't know what you want to call them,
right.
but they're loudspeakers.
So here's the mail room. So this mail room and this hallway here that we just walked through, that's what's currently being remodeled right now. And this entire area is going to be turned into the car audio, not just Kicker, but the car audio museum, kind of a look back into car audio. So it's going to be pretty cool.
That's cool.
Of course, we're back in the warehouse now. Yeah. So we're back in the warehouse. We're walking through, and we wanted to come up on and actually go into everyone sees blur. There's blur for a reason. Blur for a reason.
You think?
Obviously, everyone tuned into the show.
You can film anywhere, not here.
You're not here. Everyone sees what we see here, obviously, and then Ernie does kind of the overhead shot to see. So what we did is we wanted to come back into the studio and actually give you a behind-the-scenes look. So we came back to the studio, and we're coming in on the backside so you can see what I look at when I'm sitting here in front of everyone doing our show. So this is the backside, all the different cameras, the lighting, the TV that we use so I can watch the feeds.
Magics I want to get. Oh my gosh.
They're really good too.
Oh, dude, Fernando's totally cheesing me up once one of those.
And it's I don't know if we got it on here, but we even have a couple of those Black Magic micro cameras, and that's the one like we use in the back to get the shot of Sandy and those. That's that camera there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there it is right there. Black Magic micro camera.
Yeah.
And so this is walking back behind the studio, and this is the control room. I mean, this is where everything gets put together, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know that software. That's what we use.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's a look from the control room looking forward. We have plexiglass there to try to help with sound control. It doesn't work as well as a room,
what you're
but
saying
it
is
works.
Bill gets to stare at your butt through the whole thing?
Yeah, Bill gets to stare at my butt the whole time. So we did all that, and that's a tour through the place. We wanted to end it in the studio, but Ernie's got some footage that he and I shot after the fact. And of course, you guys have experienced it, and we played around that one day here with it, is the wall of boom up in front. And in the first part of this video, everyone kind of saw the wall of boom, but we didn't play it or do anything with it. So Ernie and I thought, we couldn't do this whole video tour and not end it without playing the wall of boom. So Ernie and I went and shot some footage, and Ernie did some wonderful little editing to it and put it all together here. So with that said, we'd like to give you a little taste of the Kicker wall of boom that's in front of the building. And it is 16 L7 15-inch drivers that are in large ported enclosures. Each enclosure is about 22, 23 cubic foot tuned. I want to remember, I don't want to lie to you, but I think tuning's right around 36. I think we tuned those to 36 when we built them. And then the subwoofers are getting about 1,000 watts apiece, a little over 1,000 watts. So there's 16,000 watts on 16 subs. And then there's these arrays, these line arrays that we built up at the top, and it has 8 Q-class mids and 8 Q-class tweets, and it's fully active. So there's a 4,000 watt amplifier running just the mids, and there's a 3,000 watt amplifier running just all the tweeters. We can't use car amps to run something like that. It just isn't realistic for power and everything. So it is all QSC Pro Sound amplifiers that run the whole thing. It is an impressive wall. We have neighbors that don't like us if we take it to 11, so to speak. But we did capture a little bit of footage of it so you guys could see it in action and see what it does. It's pretty cool. So Ernie, if you're ready to roll that footage, go ahead and roll it. And Ernie's trying to roll it. I'm pretty sure he is.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I mean, I know he's got the footage. He's just got to figure out how to roll it.
It's okay. It wouldn't be Kicker live stream if you didn't have some sort of technical difficulty.
Hey, I've got video of flexing the front glass.
So here, this is pretty cool. There you can see that's actually the lights that are hanging. That's actually them. That's parts of the displays moving. And then, of course, we went outside, had to capture outside. And then the sign on the front of the building, it sounds like a license plate on a 67.
Sounds like an old Cadillac.
So how do you keep the ceiling tiles in place?
Roll that again, Ernie. We're just going to talk over it. It's funny you bring that up, Dean. The ceiling tiles that are in there, I'm not saying this from any, it's not a braggadocious standpoint, but that wall of boom actually, he doesn't work here anymore, but he did. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, Tim Gertz and I actually built that wall of boom that you're seeing play. We built all the hard structures, the boxes, we built all the arrays that are up on top, and then we had a company over in St. Louis that did all the pretty part of it. So we actually had a firm come in that designed the whole museum, but when it came to doing the functional part of the wall of boom, my input was, I've seen how display companies make functional boxes, and typically it's not very good. So let us build the functional part of this. We'll take it to St. Louis and drop it off, and they can put all the pretty parts on it, all the different overlays and things, and then bring it back and we'll put it together. So what's cool about it is to do that, we actually had to put this thing together. They had a union labor crew coming in on 8 a.m. Monday to start doing the rest of their work around it. And they told us we had to have this assembled and ready to go and be out of their way by 8 a.m. because if we didn't have it up and ready and out of the way, it was so many dollars per hour of penalty and this, that, and the other because it was a union crew. So Tim and I worked all weekend. The stuff showed up on a Friday, and Tim and I worked, and when I say all weekend, I mean we worked till like 3 or 4 in the morning on a Friday night, a Saturday night, and a Sunday to get this thing up and operational, get it out of the way. Because we had to install everything, run the wiring, do the tuning. There is a DSP in there that does everything happening, so we had to go in and build our DSP. It's called a basis piece from QSC, and it's building blocks. You say, okay, I want a crossover, I want an EQ. You have to build your DSP and then program it. And so there was a lot of learning on that. And understand this goes back a long time. I mean, that wall's been here a long time. And so it's probably about 3 in the morning on a Sunday, and it's just before. And Tim and I mean, we're tired, but we're excited because this is a fun project that we're building. And we finally get at the point we can fire it up. I mean, it's ready to go. The crossovers are set. We're not going to break anything. We got a mild EQ on it, and it's time to let it eat. And so I'm turning up the volume knob, and I'm turning up the volume knob, and it's just, God, it sounds good. It just sounds so good. And I'm turning it up, and Tim, I'm looking at him, and he's high-fiving me, and we're smiling, because we had an expectation, but it exceeded our expectations of what it was going to do. And so we're just smiling. We're just giddy. We're like two kids. It's like, man, this is awesome. Listen to this thing. Look at this. We built this, and it's doing this. This is so cool. And as I'm doing this, and I'm doing it, and I'm looking around the room, and I look up, and I have that holy crap moment, and I turn the volume down as fast as I can, because what I had done is a ceiling tile had vibrated out of the ceiling and it fell. And what's interesting, it didn't fall all the way down. It fell down just far enough that there's this thing called a sprinkler system head that caught it. And if that would have broke the vial, that entire museum would have been a stinky pool of water in minutes. I mean, probably a minute and a half, because it's a very good fire suppression system on this whole building. It's pressurized and pumped and everything. So it scared the daylights out of us, because the last thing we need to do is be this close and fill the place with stinky water. So we shut it down for the night. We were there early the next morning. We were there before 8, so we didn't get any sleep that night. And we're like, hey, we need to get this tile replaced. We don't want anything going on and everything. So everything happened. It was cool. They got it put back in place. The crew came in and they finished up the whole museum, and it turned out to be what you guys see. So then over the years, or the next year, people come in for tours, and we'd show off the wall of boom. And typically at that time, I was the guy driving it. So I'd go up and I'd get on it and demo it. And I'll be darned if I just didn't keep vibrating ceiling tiles out of the place, and vibrating ceiling tiles that are around the fire suppression system. So finally, after it was like the third time, finally Jay Ralston, who's the general manager, said, we need to fix this. And I said, I agree. And so actually we had a crew come back in, and it's some kind of, I don't know how to describe it completely, but the tiles are up there. It's some kind of commercial tile that actually, it goes up, over, comes down, and kind of locks into place. And what was happening is the wall of boom was vibrating it back, vibrating it up, and then it was just vibrating it over, and it was falling. So they actually went into all the ceiling tiles, and they put a little bit of construction adhesive up there to make sure they won't come out.
I was going to say spray foam, but yeah, that works too.
That's true story. But that wall of boom has a very, very soft spot in my heart because Tim and I were, very hands-on and built that, the working part of what you see there. Now, we didn't do the pretty part around it, but we made it do what it does. And, the ports in the back was pretty cool is when we were doing this, I brought my son up here once while we were working during the day on the weekend. And at that time, he'd have been like 5 or 6. And he actually went around back. He crawled in the port and then walked up and stood up in the cabinet and looked through the second speaker hole from the bottom looking out. So the port's big enough for a 5 or 6-year-old to walk into and stand in the cabinet.
It's funny how you said that euphoric, like it's done. I'm going to hear this thing right now.
Yes.
I think like as an installer, that's kind of like we've all worked on those cars where it's like, I just want to hear this thing. I've put all these hours into it. I just want to turn this thing on and either be totally destroyed in the sense that it sucks, or I just want to be blown away and be like, I can go home and get some sleep now. And that is like it's either the best feeling in the world, or like I'm gonna die. Like just kill me now.
Yes.
And there's no gray area. There's no like middle ground where it's just like, that's cool. No, you're just either like, yeah, or you're like, get the paddles.
Man, you're so on that. That's so right. Because we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we had expectations, but what started this is what's kind of funny. Is this whole project started is that the management team, they said, we want to put an experience in the museum where a group of people can come in and kind of get an idea of what a car audio or a KICKER car audio system is like. And the original idea, I got pulled into a meeting, and the original idea, they said, well, what kind of thing is maybe let's put a pair of 15s and a pair of 12s and a pair of 10s, and you can switch between them and show the 15s versus the 12s versus the 10s. And the result of that meeting, I said, I got a better idea. Can you give me a couple days to draw something up and come up with an idea? And they said, well, yeah, what do you have in mind? I was like, well, just let me try to figure, because I said, you're trying to get a large group of people, and you guys have all been there. That's a big room. I mean, forget about the square footage. You're talking about volume. That room has a lot of air that you have to move. And I said, that's not going to work for what you want to do. I said, if you want a bunch of guys and gals to come in here and experience what a car audio system's like, let me put pen to paper and come back with a plan. And so I did, and originally I actually wanted to put in 32 subs. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do 32 subwoofers. And I knew they wouldn't go for that many. I just knew that wasn't going to fly. So I knew whatever number I said, they were going to want me to do just a few less, because I figured out how it works. So when I presented it in the meeting, I presented it as 24. I was like, I'd like to do 24 subwoofers in here. I think that would be really cool, blah, blah, blah. Laid the whole thing out, detailed how we'd power it and everything. And I remember sitting there, and it was Charlie Schultz, who was the VP of Sales and Marketing at that time, and Steve Irby. And they're like, well, that sounds like a really good idea. Do you think you could do it with 16? And in my mind, I knew that's what they would say. And so I had to ask for more than 16 to get 16. And I said, yeah, absolutely, we can do it with 16. I'm on board. Let's make it happen. And so that was kind of the birth of that idea. And then Tim and I, we designed the whole thing up, built it, wired it, and did it. And it was a fun time. And people who come experience that, I mean, there's no one who doesn't walk away with a smile on their face after they experience the Wall of Boom, or I call it WOB for short. And the day that we were here testing it, I mean, they put a meter clear in the front of the building by the entrance of the door, and the thing was doing 144 dB at like 30-some hertz in the front corner of the room. I mean, this thing lights up a whole lot of airspace and does it extremely well.
Kip, you remind me of a very specific car audio guy. So it's like, check out my system. And you go to get in the car. No, bro. No. Let's listen to it outside the building. Listen to what it sounds like outside the building. I made it sound like an old Cadillac trunk.
Believe it or not, I've had customers like that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a very specific person.
In the car, and they'll be like, so my one complaint with the Wall of Boom is we need to refresh it and get a real-size TV now, because that TV looks like a little 15-inch monitor next to that thing, and, like, we can get bigger TVs cheaper now. I'm just saying.
Do you know that's an 82-inch TV there now?
Well, see, my suggestion was just to make a whole wall above it a projection screen.
That's a good idea.
And just do the whole wall. It's like, here we go. Because, I mean, projectors are super bright now. So we just do the whole wall as a screen, screw the little TV. We put a big KICKER logo there with flashy lights, because everyone likes lights. Maybe put, like,
who doesn't?
TV. Yeah, exactly. But it just seems weird. Even with the TV, it's like, why isn't the whole wall a screen? Like,
they can watch movies there.
Oh, that would. This is my center channel. What do you have?
You know, you talk about movies after. Obviously, it's just stereo. There's no surround, there's no center. It's just a stereo system. But I did, when it was all completed and done, I brought my son Jack up here with some popcorn and something to drink. And I said, come on, Jack, let's go up. He said, what are you going to do, Dad? I said, I just want you to go see it. It's done. He's like, okay, Dad. So we come up here. And again, at that time, he'd have been like 6. We sit down in front of that thing, and the TV's there, and I forget what action movie, I wish I could remember, but it was some action movie, whether it was a Marvel or who knows what it was. But I put on this action movie, and it's just stereo, but when things blow up, when things, I mean, it happened. There's stuff going on. And my son just sat there in awe, and when it was all done, I don't think he said a word during the whole thing. It was all done. He just turned and looked and says, Dad, that was so cool.
Right, so basically what Kip is saying is when we go back out there, it's going to be Saturday night movie night in the museum. We're going to watch something that blows things up. That's all I know. Gratuitous violence, here we come. You know?
What I want to do real quick, guys, is, I mean, I love people tuning in. We are right at the 90-minute mark, and I try to keep this show right at 90 minutes. What I'd like to do real fast, if you guys would just stay here with me, I'd like to announce the winners of our contest tonight. And then if there's any questions in the feed, and if there's people that want to hang on past the 90 minutes, maybe we can do, you know, another 5 or 10 minutes. But I really try to keep it at 90, so at least the people are in for the contest. So, Bill, if you're ready, just leave us all up here. Our third place winner tonight, and you guys always know what you're getting, and I'm the last to know because I pretend that you guys don't know. But basically, it's the same thing we did last week. So third place and second place, you're going to get a set of EB300 headphones. You're going to get one of the limited edition Kicker Unmasked Live tees in gray, and you're going to get a set of koozies. And then our first place winner, you're going to get a Cush NC headphones, so the same headphones that we're promoting tonight for the autism awareness for April. We're going to give a set of those away for first place tonight, along with the limited edition black t-shirt and also a set of koozies. I know I'm in the habit, sometimes I say it at every one, but just a general thing, guys, if you're the winner, we need you to reach out to social@kicker.com. Reach out to Bill. We need to have your shipping address. It cannot be a P.O. box. We need you to verify your shirt size because sometimes maybe you checked the wrong box or accidentally selected the wrong one or you just moved on down the highway. We want to verify your shirt size. And we do need your phone number because if UPS, USPS, or FedEx, whoever's delivering the package to you, can't find you or there's a delivery problem, they need an actual number to contact you. So we actually need a number. We're not giving your number away. It won't go any further. We just have to have it for shipping information. So any of the winners tonight, please reach out with that information to social@kicker.com. Bill will reach out to you if you're the winner. So it's a two-way street, but we need that information. So with that said, Bill, who's winner number 3 on tonight's show? Winner number 3 is Glenn M. in Victoria. Hey, Canada! Is this our, hey, Bill, is this our first Canadian winner? Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's our first one.
Nice.
That is, man. You know, I bring that up every show because I want people from the north to know that they're part of the drawing structure now because we wanted to make that happen. And we're going to keep going, see who else we can add. But here's our first winner, Glenn M. in Victoria, BC, Canada. So, Glenn, keep in mind, it's going to take us a little more time to get your prize to you than shipping here in the domestic U.S. We are working with our distributor, Jemson in Canada, to get this to you. So please get your information to Bill, or when Bill reaches out to you, get it to him, and we will get your gift out to you. Just please give us a little bit of grace. It's going to take us a little more time because of getting it across. So we appreciate you tuning in. Winner number 2, who do we got, Bill? Anthony P. in Harriman, Utah. Anthony, you're a winner dose tonight on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. You're getting the same thing, an unmasked gray shirt, a set of EB300s, and a pair of koozies to keep your favorite beverage cool while you watch the Kicker Unmasked show or anything else you're doing in your life. Thank you for tuning in. And then winner number 1, who's going to get the limited edition black, the koozies, and the Cush NC headphones. Bill, who do we have to thank for being on the show tonight? Winner number is Rob L. in Dearborn, Michigan. So Rob L., Dearborn, Michigan, you are our number 1 first place winner tonight. You're getting the Cush NCs, the black tea, and the koozies. I want to thank everyone for entering the contest. It is just a very small way that we can show some appreciation to all of you for tuning in, hanging in, enjoying the show, and giving you a little prize there at the end to keep you hanging on. So we're right at 94 minutes here. I'm going to say let's run it out just about another 6 minutes because first off, I love having you 3 guys on the show. This is fantastic. So is there there a comment feed? Is there a comment in the feed you want to bring up? Do you have something you want to add about the tour? Anything? Let's start at my top right, which would be Derek. What do you got?
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. I mean, obviously it's a little more intense when you're there, especially the wall. But, you know, just to get an idea of what these guys live through every day with, you know, how they work, you get to see the whole facility. I really thought it was really cool even watching it again. Obviously, Dean did a video. I did a video. If you guys want to see more information, you can check our channels to see our experiences of the tour. But, yeah, it's just I appreciate you guys having me on tonight. It was lots of fun. And I had a good time going through the tour again, so thanks for having me.
You know, I'm going to tee into that because you said it. Yeah, you did a wonderful video walkthrough of this, but I got to give props, and I'm going to go down to him next, which is Dean. I can't tell you how many times I've seen comments about Dean's video, and people call it a movie. I mean, people have actually typed in the comment section, I can't wait to get home and stream this to my TV. I got to watch the Kicker movie that Dean did. So I'm going to go to Dean next, who's below me. Dean, comments for the night? Anything you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I'll talk about the movie, as we call it. That was funny because, you know, I went to Lori and I said, hey, I have this idea. And naturally, you know, she's like, well, email me some stuff. I said, oh, okay. So, like, I put together this whole email wish list of all the things I wanted to do, all the shots I wanted to get, all the people I wanted to talk to. And then I didn't hear from her for like 4 months. And it was like kind of getting close to the time where I'm coming out there. And I said, so, like, what happened with the, you know, oh, yeah, we're doing all that. I go, oh, okay. Shoot. You know, I was like, man, all right, well, let me get my stuff. Because up until then, I didn't even know if it was going to happen or not. Because it was like the last minute. There was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I was like, awesome. So, but no, so we'll talk about the lake for a minute. Fernando and I, not my Fernando, your Fernando, we ran the lake. Every time I come there, I get up in the morning at the hotel and I'll run around Kicker and around the lake and I'll run back to the hotel. So one morning, you know, I said to Fernando, I said, hey, he goes, I know you run. I said, yeah. I said, do you run? He goes, yeah. So he goes, all right, well, I'll meet you there and we'll do the run together. So I meet him there in the morning and we go to run around the lake and we're running. And, you know, he keeps like getting a little in front of me. I'm like, all right. So he wants to go faster. So I'm talking and running and talking and running. And he's, you know, talking and running. And we get done and he's like, oh my God, because you're fast. And I was like, what do you mean I'm fast? You kept speeding up. He goes, no, I was just, you know, and I go, well, you kept speeding up. So I kept, you know, trying to pace it. He goes, no, man, I wasn't speeding up. You were speeding up. My bad. But so we get done. And I'm still 2.5 miles away from the hotel. So I got to run to the hotel to meet Lori.
To come back?
Yeah, to come back. So it was like, I'll be back in a couple minutes. But I will say there, if anyone goes there and they need a restroom, there's one conveniently located right across the street at the lake. Thank God. That's all I have to say.
There is one located there, and it's pretty cool that you talk about running the lake because it is, you know, right across from our building here is a wonderful facility. It's beautiful.
God.
I mean,
I would walk that every day at lunchtime. It's a beautiful, like, and when you, so the weird part is like when you're looking at the Kicker facility, everyone is iconically looking at the silver entrance to the building. But when you go around to the other side of the building, and like how you're talking, it's an older building. It's a brick building. Like, that's the most amount of bricks I have ever seen in my life. I mean, and you don't even notice that. And you're like, oh, my God, it's like, it just goes on forever. It's like the biggest grid you've ever seen. And you're just like, oh, my God, that's brick. Holy crap. But I've been there.
And it's tall. I mean, that ceiling, I mean, I'm trying to think, it's got to be 24 foot to the top, 26. I mean, it's up there.
So I was running around. I was on the outside of the lake. I was on the other side of the lake, and it was just as the sun was coming up, and it was just like, you know, the silver was catching the sunlight, and I just had to stop, and I was like, it was like my first trip there, and it was like, it was just that like perfect moment where it was like the sun was hitting the side of the silver, and it was just like this gorgeous. I was just like, wow, I'm at the Kicker facility. This is the freaking coolest thing ever. So it was definitely a lot of fun. If you ever get the chance, you definitely need to go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dean had a diva before he ran. Yeah. Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh, That's pretty funny, actually. I think that's hilarious. Going to move down to my other diagonal corner. That gets us down to Mr. Robert Hi-Fi Vega. Sir, you were with us last week, obviously here for this week, which I can't thank you enough for joining. Comment, you want to pull out, comment you got about the tour, anything you want to add, sir?
Well, I would like to have the clip of Bill Frog's "Oh Yeah" Canadian "Oh Yeah" put in the promo for next week's show, because that was absolutely perfect. It was spot on. But besides that, I had a freaking blast coming on the tour originally, going back through it. It's a great time, and I need to make it again. Jesse Strawn has been talking about making the trip, and I told him when he does, I'm going to go with him.
You know, what we need to do, in all seriousness, and I say this, is when the Car Audio Museum is completed up front, we need to plan for you guys to come for a visit of that, and we need to make sure that it's during the time frame hits over a Tuesday, and we can all be here live in the studio, and we can talk about that. If we want to film some stuff and show it that night, we can, but we could all do it live here in the studio and talk about that, and possibly even have Jesse come over and join us if he's available at that time. That'd be pretty cool.
Let me tell you, you have to experience the Stillwater Airport. You will get mileage out of that conversation. Oh my God, I have never been through stricter TSA people in my life. Holy Jesus.
Well, they don't let Northerners in here so
time.
Easily. I mean,
oh my God.
we're me and Derek are representing the South on the right side of the screen. And then, of course, you guys are both
I'm more southern than all of you, so but I'm from the north. Well, Florida is like the northernmost southern tip of the United States.
Yeah.
Figure that
out.
Well,
Haley called you out already.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, what are you going to do? But no, that Stillwater Airport is wonderful. You'll have a good time in that. It's if you ever have to fly in, be early.
Yeah. Don't be. You say that about being early. Jay Ralston, the GM here. I mean, if it's a domestic flight, typically you can be there 30 to 45 in advance, and they let it slide. But even though it's a small airport, if you're on an international flight, they're serious about being there an hour plus in advance. And Jay showed up the morning of one of our kicker trips, and it was international, and he showed there at the typical time he shows up for a domestic flight. They wouldn't let him go. He had to reschedule, come out another flight. So they do take it seriously. Colonel Klink and the crew there run a tight ship at the Stillwater Airport.
Oh, they do, man. They do not play around. I mean, every time I go, I've been in the little private room where they're like, what do you got there? No, they won't. Oh, it's not luggage. It's not luggage.
Oh, that's funny. So, guys, I'm gonna leave you up on the screen. We're gonna sign this thing out, but I'm just gonna have you stay in all the other three corners with me. So, with that said, I really want to thank everyone who tuned in for the tour of the facility part 2. Hope you enjoyed it. I mean, this was something that Ernie and I cooked up kind of last minute because a lot of people on the feed keep asking to see more of the company. And this probably won't be the last time we'll do it. As new and cool things come in, we'll probably bring some other aspects. We'll go shoot more video and bring it in. Obviously, I think we had a great plan here when the new Kicker Car Audio Museum is open. We need to do that, and we need to do it with these three guys on the screen. So I think we need to make that an event to actually participate. So thanks for tuning in. Myself, I'm the guy in front of the camera just trying to make sure I don't wreck this car. But behind on the cameras, we got Tim. He does a fantastic job, especially as his whiteboard to keep me on track and line of things. In the back, we got Jacob being trained by Bill Frog. Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for that. He'll be joining us on his own, I think, next week because Bill will be out. We have Sandy, who is taking the place of Jeremy Wynn. She's doing a fantastic job. And as always, we got Ernie back there, and he's doing everything he can to keep me confused and dazed as we're up here doing the show. Can't thank you guys for tuning in enough. We love doing this show for you guys. Hope you get something great out every week. We got a great show planned for you next week. It's going to be a good time for not just us here in the studio, but all 200 plus employees who make a living here at Stillwater Designs and Audio right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Have a great, safe week, and we will see you next Tuesday. Have a good one, everyone.